When you hear the word caveman, what comes to mind? Do you picture a hairy figure, hunched over, dragging a club, maybe grunting in a dark cave? Forget those silly cartoons. The truth about our early ancestors is far more interesting. These people were not dumb brutes. They were clever, resourceful, and adaptable. They faced challenges we can barely imagine and found incredible ways to survive. They were the first humans, and their story is our story. So, let's travel back in time, thousands of years ago. Let's meet the real cavemen and discover their amazing world. Get ready for an adventure. Who were these mysterious cavemen? Well, they weren't just one type of people. They were different species of humans, all part of our extended family tree. First came Homo habilis, the handyman. They were the first to make and use tools, a giant leap forward. Then came Homo erectus, the upright man. They learned to control fire and were the first to venture out of Africa. We also have the Neanderthals, our closest extinct relatives. They were strong and intelligent with bigger brains than ours. And finally, we have early Homo sapiens, our direct ancestors who would eventually populate the globe. Each group had its own unique skills and adaptations for survival. Now let's clear up a big misconception. Early humans didn't spend all their time cooped up in caves. Caves offered shelter, yes, especially during harsh weather. But these people were nomadic, meaning they moved around to follow food sources. They built temporary shelters from wood, animal bones, and hides. Imagine families huddled around a crackling fire, sharing stories and warmth. They weren't just surviving, they were living, raising families and building communities. And don't forget, life wasn't just about hunting woolly mammoths. They gathered berries, nuts, and roots. They fished in rivers and lakes. Their survival depended on understanding the land and its rhythms. Forget smartphones and Wi-Fi. Stone Age technology was all about using what nature provided, and let me tell you, they were incredibly inventive. Their most famous invention was the hand axe, a tool for everything from chopping wood to hunting. They crafted sharp blades, scrapers for cleaning hides, and even sewing needles from bone. They discovered how to make fire, a game changer for warmth, cooking, and protection. And here's a surprise, they even invented glue. They used birch bark tar and other natural substances to create adhesives for tools and weapons. Don't underestimate the ingenuity of these early engineers. Step inside a cave like Chauvet or Lascaux and prepare to be amazed. On the walls you'll find incredible paintings of animals, handprints, and mysterious symbols. These weren't just decorations, they were expressions of creativity, spirituality, and maybe even attempts to understand the world around them. Imagine the flickering light of torches illuminating these masterpieces. Some paintings are over 30,000 years old. They tell us that early humans were capable of complex thought, symbolism, and artistic expression. These ancient artists used natural pigments from crushed rocks, charcoal, and even plants. Their art provides a glimpse into their beliefs, their fears, and their hopes for the future. Life for early humans was harsh, but they also experienced joy, love, and grief just like us. We know they formed strong family bonds. They cared for their sick and elderly, as evidenced by fossils of individuals with healed injuries and disabilities. They developed rituals for burying their dead, sometimes with tools or other offerings. This shows us they thought about what happened after death and had a sense of loss. But life wasn't always peaceful. There's evidence that some groups resorted to cannibalism, perhaps in times of extreme hardship. While disturbing to us, it reminds us of the difficult choices they faced to survive. Around 40,000 years ago, something mysterious happened. The Neanderthals, our close relatives, vanished from the Earth. The exact reasons are still debated, but competition for resources and climate change likely played a role. But here's a fascinating twist. Neanderthals didn't completely disappear. They interbred with our direct ancestors. And today, most people outside of Africa carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA in their genes. So the next time you look in the mirror, remember that a tiny part of you might come from these resilient, resourceful people. The story of cavemen is a story of resilience, creativity, and the enduring human spirit. They were pioneers, adapting to changing environments, inventing new technologies, and creating art that still resonates with us today. Though their world was vastly different from our own, they shared the same basic human needs for connection, expression, and understanding. Their story reminds us that we are all connected, across time and cultures, by the shared thread of our humanity. So, let's celebrate our cavemen ancestors, not as grunting primitives, but as intelligent, resourceful, and deeply human individuals who paved the way for our own existence. Their legacy lives on in each of us.